Austin 316 says, I just kicked your ass. Oh, man. I miss the Stone Cold Steve Austin days.
Stone Cold is still active in social media.
Is he woke Cold Steve Austin now? Did Stone Cold say BLM? Did Stone Cold say trans rights?
He said stuff like about wearing a mask, that he's pro wearing a mask.
That's pretty good. Amongst the cohort that will listen to Stone Cold, they probably... Yeah, I didn't know about no COVID-19, but Stone Cold. He's a pussy. He's gonna get bimbofied by 5G like the rest of them.
Oh, were they still worried about the young boys getting bimbofied?
Is that a thing? Is part of the 5G conspiracy bimbofication? That's part of it, right?
I don't know if that's part of the specific 5G, but I do love the worry that our young boys are going to turn into hot bimbos.
Our young boys are turning into hot bimbos.
Just with
that's
big old bolt-ons, big shiny bolt-ons.
Oh, yeah, huge bolt-ons, bro. Bro, we're going to Femboy Hoodies. Gonna see those big bolt-on boys.
The most masculine thing you can do is get breast implants.
Bro. I'm a total size queen, bro. Look at my tits, bro. You know how expensive these are?
Oh my god, that'd be amazing. I can't wait for 5 years from now when that is the thing.
It'd be funny if Guidos do squat contests to see who can get huge, juicy asses.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, we're getting huge, juicy asses over here. Bro,
Yep.
Let's get bimbofied.
That's what Dudes Rock is all about.
Yeah, it's being bimbros.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you're gonna... The most masculine expression is gonna be to be the sluttiest woman possible.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest
Because
ass.
the more dick you have in you, literally the more dick you have in you. It's the most masculine thing that you can possibly have.
Yes.
That's why bottoms are manlier than tops. Fact.
What's the difference?
Well, you see, a bottom is when a daddy and a daddy love each other very much.
and
I like the idea because gay couples probably they have to give the talk to the kids, but do they also? I've never been in a situation where I've had to explain top, bottom, and verse to like a 12-year-old. But I guess it's not that weird if they're 12.
You don't have to give the talk to your kids. You don't have to explain anything to your kids.
My mom was pretty good about it. I would just ask stuff because I saw stuff on TV, and she would just explain it bluntly.
Yeah, I'm just going to say you're too young for that knowledge until they're 18, and then once they're 18, I'll be like, you're 18, and I don't have to explain shit to you anymore.
Mm-hmm. You're at the door. You've had 7 STDs. I don't care.
They build character.
You're right. They do build character. Every STD is a point of personality. I gained humility from my syphilis, and I gained pride from my chlamydia.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have some kind of weird future combo between Gattaca and Harrison Bergeron where the woke liberals are going to be like asking the doctors to give their babies some kind of fucked up defect so that they'll struggle in life and they'll have more character. It's like, can't you make him disabled?
Hot take. We are going to make our babies disabled for victim privilege. That is what we are going to do.
That's what I would do.
I would, yeah. Well, that's what they do in Slumdog Millionaire, where they scoop out the eyes of the beggar boys so they bring in more money.
Oh, God. Yeah, see? It's already here.
Yeah, we already have this technology.
Jesus.
Cripple your kids for money. Cripple your kids for money. That's what we can all agree on.
Yeah, well, we just have to make sure we don't turn into Maoists and instead turn into Marxists and kill people en masse that way.
No, we Dengists. We're going to become Dengists. I love Deng Xiaoping.
I like Deng, but how would his teachings apply to America?
Deng Xiaoping is popular amongst Dark Enlightenment people because... Because if you want to return to authoritarianism, Deng Xiaoping's a pretty good example to use. He didn't totally fuck up. I mean, he killed a lot of dissidents. But to an authoritarian person, he's like, yeah, what are you talking about? That's a feature, not a bug. You kill dissidents when you embrace authoritarianism. That's cool. That's what's cool about it. But I don't think that's cool. I like dissidents. They're so angry and lovely.
How liberal of you.
I'm very liberal. You see, no one goes to free speech jail. Not even Nazis. They're allowed to yell. They're allowed to... The Toronto Public Library keeps taking public stands on free speech. One time, they allowed a funeral for a lawyer who had represented a bunch of skinheads in Toronto. And there was a protest. A memorial. The skinheads were having a memorial for this free speech lady. And not the fun skinheads either. The bad ones. But Toronto Public Library said, yeah, skinheads, you can have your free speech memorial here. And people were very upset by this. And then most recently, the Toronto Public Library invited a Quillette lady. But she was a gender-critical feminist. So classic, we feel unsafe in bathrooms now because men are going to trick us. Or men are going to use women's clothing to rape now.
Right.
Because
in the
trans people
bathroom,
are
which would be illegal anyway.
Yeah.
It's kind
but
of,
I think...
Yeah. Anyway, go on.
Well, I know where this comes from. I know where the TERF attitude, at least for a lot of people... Because there are two types of TERF. There's bigoted TERFs who are just you're never going to appeal to on any sense of reason. And then there are women who are really, really, really afraid of men. And they're so afraid of men that they think that trans women are still men and that they're going to attack them. So, to some degree, I get where some turfery comes from. Because if, you've been abused by a man and you have a negative opinion, you have, sort of a justified misandry in your life, you're going to apply that to trans people, which sucks. It sucks. Hurt people,
Yeah, you can kind of see that in the incel community. When incels are, for whatever reason, highly discriminated against and react with violent crime. So, to not discriminate against trans people is not going to make them react with violent crime. Right? It seems to me like if we let trans people use the bathrooms, even if they were predisposed to doing crimes, it would make the instances of those crimes go down.
Yeah. But if you're a bigoted TERF, or if you're any type of TERF, you just believe that... You don't really believe that trans people exist. You believe it's all a grift,
Or mental illness, I guess?
Yeah, something like that. Which is, especially funny with the lesbians who are TERFs, which is most of them. Not most TERFs. I don't have the stats on that. I should shut the fuck up. But you will see a lot of queer TERFs, which is interesting because it's not so long ago they diagnosed homosexuality as a mental illness. You could have a lobotomy for wanting to, do things to the same parts. So the fact that you go on board with this whole transness is a mental illness thing, it seems a little short-sighted, A little short-sighted.
Yeah. Human history has been short-sighted. Humans, I mean, you can't, I don't know. Humans can't be, they can't be taught. They just don't learn. They don't learn. So we had some Peterson news this week.
Yeah, he came out. It's Peterson Watch 2020.
It was the most boring article. I couldn't even get through it. Let me see if I can pull it up on my... Jamie, pull that up.
So I believe you should read the opening paragraph is straight fire, though. You should read the opening. The rest of it's boring as hell, but the opening paragraph is pure gold. So if it's not the man himself, it's either his daughter that has learned how to ape his style or some sort of Peterson bot. I want to believe in my heart of hearts it is the man himself, because this is the exact type of thing he would get riled up about.
Yeah.
So what he's mad about in question, the source of the article is there was this, I believe, an article published about 30 years ago in an organic chemistry journal or some sort of chemistry journal, and it was arguing about effective ways of teaching specialized chemistry fields to people. And in it had a big section as to why affirmative action is sort of bad, because the classic anti-affirmative action where we're going to be promoting people that have less merit, and that's bad for science. So it's this old, outdated article that was getting republished, and people were mad about it. And, but Jordan Peterson was railing against it. So have you found the article from the National Post?
Well, I have the one that was on the National Post and what he posted also on his website are basically the same, but they have different titles.
Interesting.
The one, I think we referred to it last week, is Missives of Appalling Idiocy and Envy Embarrassing to Behold. But then, what was the website the article?
It also, so the National Post, which is a Canadian newspaper, sort of the flagship newspaper of Post Media, which is the big conservative newspaper conglomerate in Canada. They'll usually publish op-eds by sort of alt-right adjacent rabble-rousers, including our most famous asshole Conrad Black.
Oh, so the article is the activists are now stalking the hard scientists. Is that it?
That's the one.
Okay.
That's the punchy title. So give us the opening paragraph to that.
Okay. Well, wait. As
you don't
the
have
man?
to read it. You can just get. You could do it as the man.
So many messages. I can't. I can't. So many messages of appalling idiocy, detestable envy, and envy embarrassing to behold crossed my desk in the last fortnight that I found myself in the rare position of having too much to record, a writer's dream. But that content also indicated that the bell is tolling, and that I am one of those for whom the death knell sounds.
Wow. Fucking metal.
Wow.
Fucking metal. This is no country for old men. They're coming for the last of the rationals as they hide out here in beautiful, tolerant Serbia. The end of man is nigh. The time of the Peter Sun. Let us go, Peter Sun. Navigate this world of political correctness.
We got to get a soundboard with Metallica.
Yes.
Okay,
we have to have... Do you think James Hetfield has ever made the noise? Has ever made the Tim Allen grunt noise? Just accidentally? I bet so.
Yeah, he's a dad?
I definitely haven't. Yeah. James Hetfield, Home Improvement. Who would be Al, though? Would it be Lars?
Fucking hate Lars, man.
Everyone hates Lars, and everyone loves Al.
Fuck Lars. All right, so... The Petersons is I can't get any further than the first paragraph. It just gets so boring.
Yeah, it's really boring. He's just talking about how it's basically the same talking points as that old James Damore Google memo, which says affirmative action is... This guy was using science to say that affirmative action was bad. And he's saying that,
Bad for what? For science?
Yeah, he's saying that, it was the exact same thing as the Google memo. You remember the Google memo when that horribly ugly big-nosed man said that we're having too many female programmers and they're gumming up the works because we value sort of this superficial diversity over actual merit. So, yeah, it's a very nerdy argument because it assumes that you have the ability to objectively assess merit.
Well, I don't think it's really happening. I don't think they really are disregarding merit for diversity.
Yeah.
I think they're pretending to.
If there was diversity at Google, there would be any black people at Google.
I don't know what the Google percentages are. But
I was looking at a lot of Indian, a lot of Asian people, a lot of white people, very few black people.
Yeah, well, research is going to be hampered because no more visas no more H-1B visas.
They're ending the H-1s, the most significant labor visa probably ever in American history. Yeah. The thing that caused... I mean, it's good for everyone else because it means that America is no longer going to brain drain countries.
Well, good for everyone else besides
Yeah.
America.
Yeah, America's really shooting at you literally through the H-1 visa, you got all of the best scientists from everywhere, all of the best everyone from everywhere.
We're smart. Wait. We're smart. I thought we were smart.
Nah, this country is just being run on Indians.
Oh,
it's been being run on Indians for the last 70 years. They've been running the show.
Yeah, we're gonna wake up January 1st, 2021, and be like, "Oh shit, Y2K was real." And all the tech people were in a 21-year battle that we just lost. Y2K is gonna happen.
Y2K is just 21 years too late.
Delayed reaction, delayed onset.
Yeah. Y21K.
NBA Y2K.
That's a great lost franchise, the NBA Y2K series, where it was just very glitchy versions of Allen Iverson just shouting at you, and just commenting on your small penis.
It's like planes are falling out of the air. There's no water.
It's just Allen Iverson saying, "Small dick."
They thought that
small dick. You have a small dick.
There were people that thought that the water was going to stop because of Y2K.
Water's connected to the internet.
Because the water's not analog anymore, and that's where we fucked up.
Yeah, you're right. It's digital water. It's water, but it's like it gets like 220 megapixels per square inch. Yeah. It's water, but better. We've improved water.
You can't improve water.
H2O2. Which is, I guess that's hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah, H2O2.
I guess that'd kill you if you drank that. We're introducing a new version of water. It's H2O2. Wow, this tastes great. Drinking hydrogen peroxide.
That's what I'm going to lie to the doctor before my colonoscopy. That's my plan. I'm going to be like, "Oh, I have an undiagnosed heart murmur."
You can't have a colonoscopy if you have a heart murmur?
No, but you shouldn't just be put on a bunch of anesthetic.
Oh.
So 5 seconds before I black out, I'm going to be like, "Undiagnosed heart murmur." And then they'll be like, "What?" have to wake me up. And I'll be like, "Oh, JK." And then
it'd be funny, in order to get out of your colonoscopy, you say, "Oh, I have an undiagnosed heart murmur, so you can't put me to sleep." That's okay, we'll do it raw.
No, they do. Yeah, no, they'll do it without anesthetic.
Just lube.
No, they
not
will.
even lube. We're doing it dry.
Yeah, some people request it. I mean, they have to with older people who can't take it. They have to do it. You can. I mean, I don't know. There's also some other lines I want to get out. Like I want to accuse him of being too anal.
Doc, you're being too anal.
Doc, come on.
That's good.
You're being a little too anal here. And laugh like Peter right afterwards.
Man, you ever had a bad experience with a cancer patient? Wrecked him. Damn near killed him. Yeah, there you go.
Wrecked him. Barely know him.
Duodenum. Jejunum.
The thing that bothers me about Jordan Peterson is he's talking about all this bullshit when there's a lot of other shit he could be talking about.
Yeah, but he's got a line to toe. If this is even him, who knows? This could be Michaela. I am almost like 70% certain this is Michaela.
I mean, it seems the thing is, it's so not topical really to present day. When did this actually? Like, I don't know. It's an impenetrable text, so it's hard for me to discover when it occurred. But
it's I think this came out recently.
But the things that he's describing, like this person, Dr. Hudlicky, or
yeah, that's Hudlicky.
Hudlicky.
He's licking Huds.
Because I think it kind of happened a while ago, so I feel like.
Well, the article is old,
yeah.
But then it got republished. Recently, a journal was trying to republish it recently, and that's where. And then people were like, "Hey, this article was racist 30 years ago, and now they're republishing it. So let's stop it."
Let me read the last paragraph because that has this conclusion. Maybe the last two paragraphs. Okay, the George Floyd incident has. Yeah. Okay, the George Floyd incident has emboldened those who are shamelessly using crooked faux moral means to stake a moral claim in the so-called patriarchal structure that makes up the academic world.
Hells yeah.
They are certainly able and willing to use the unfortunate death of an individual who had enough of the attributes of a systemically oppressed person to serve as poster boy for the self-serving political claims that are now being made on his behalf.
Oh, man.
That's callous.
That's very... Wait, so is he suggesting there that George Floyd was not too innocent? Is he doing a classic Trayvon Martin was no angel thing?
He's implying it.
Yeah, what a fucking prick.
Yeah. Okay, so he goes on. This tendency, unchecked, poses a direct danger to the integrity of precisely those STEM fields that have so far remained essentially immune to the embarrassments and blandishments of the politically correct movement.
You have obviously never heard of Robert Watson, the co-discoverer of DNA, who is also a massive racist and eugenicist, and or Charles Murray, even, who used bad genetics.
He loves Charles Murray.
I know, but he likes race science.
Yeah.
He's a big fan of race science.
He's a big fan of race science.
But he doesn't like it when other races do science.
Right.
Because they might not be meritorious. If you've ever seen a black scientist, you can be sure to be suspicious of his credentials, is basically what Jordan Peterson is saying. Fuck you, George Washington Carver.
Peanut butter. Who cares?
Peanut butter my ass.
Yeah. I'd love to, Mr. Peterson. I'd love to, Daddy Peterson.
I want you to take the knife and smear the Skippy all over my buttocks and rectum. Do it.
Do it.
I need it. This is my healing. This is part of my Serbian healing. I do not know, Dr. Peterson. I do not think I should smear peanut butter all over your ass. Damn it, Vladislav. This is the last time I'm going to fucking tell you.
Yeah, only the... although he's not in Russia anymore.
He's in Serbia, yeah.
Serbia?
Allegedly.
Come on.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's where the best detox clinics are, clearly.
Oh, clearly, yeah. Serbia.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. World-renowned.
I don't know. Maybe they are very
When someone
good.
is mysteriously disappears and then it reappears in the Eastern Bloc, we used to call that, they've been kidnapped by the communists. It used to be cut and dried. I don't know, but I don't know what's happened now. He's definitely some kind of intelligence agency is involved.
Maybe he's in with Putin. Maybe Putin is influencing Peterson.
I mean, it could be. Putin is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of who controls Russia. Because there is
talking about Vladislav Surkov or the oligarchical oil people?
Oligarchical oil people beneath the surface, and he's just the part we see on top. I mean, he's huge, but beneath him is in the murky underbelly.
What you're saying is that Putin is the rumply foreskin obscuring the shiny head of the Russian imperial force.
Yep, and that's why the genius Trump realizes he must fully arouse the Putin.
Exactly.
To expose the deep state fully and penetrate
you must peel
its
back
meaning.
the Putin foreskin. Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
In order to get to the true oligarchs, the true pedophile network that runs this world. This is the true QAnon. We are Y-anon. I mean, what would be an antidote to QAnon? What would be the opposite to QAnon?
Well, the antidote or the opposite? Because the opposite is not the antidote.
Okay. What is the opposite?
The opposite is
MSNBC?
Is the Russiagate stuff. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're right. It's neoliberal conspiracy theory is the opposite of QAnon.
But the antidote is whatever. I mean, you have to go into like the cult deprogramming field. There's good stuff coming out of Japan in regards to how they deal with the is it Aum or Om Shinrikyo?
Aum Shinrikyo.
Yeah. They
the
know,
guys which did the tear gas bomb and still somehow exist.
Dude, it's crazy. Getting into that whole thing, it's ongoing. Yeah. Figuring out how to deprogram the Q people is going to be tough.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it.
It's a brain disease that, there's always been this conspiracy-minded, I think since Kennedy was what really undeniably kicked it off, this idea that, Kennedy followed by Nixon, just followed by Iran-Contra, followed by everything, just really gave this popular idea that there is this nefarious deep state controlling events, rather than there is powerful people who aren't telling you stuff, but it's mostly just covering up their massive fuck-ups.
I attribute it to the CIA and the military-industrial complex.
I
just got
all working in unison. Devil's chessboard.
Just got into this guy Wright Mills. Have you heard of him?
Wright Mills. No, tell me. Tammy, honey.
Wright Mills is like kind of an independent figure in sociology in early, mid-century American politics. He's a sociologist, commentator. He wrote a book called The Power Elite that was kind of a handbook for the New Left in the 60s. And C. Wright Mills, unfortunately, died at a young age in 1962, but he wrote other books as well. I just ordered The Power Elite, but I haven't started it yet. But the thesis is that due to after post-World War II, the government was so heavily involved in industry that this power elite formed between business and government that became completely enmeshed. And basically is sort of like the genesis of the deep state. All our current problems are related to, I think, this period of time, post-World War II.
The consolidation of the military-industrial complex and the total blurring of the line between public and private spheres.
And the decision in high-up American politics that America will become the sort of ruling empire. To take the place of the British.
Also not just that they were doing it for monetary gain, but there was like a moral purpose to it. It was like a white man's burden thing. We are going to bring civilization to the world.
Yeah, I think John Bolton probably doesn't even have the moral component. It's about power and domination. So I don't even know if there's the moral component at its root.
Is it just a straight up power for power's sake, sort of like postmodern power grab?
Well, why? Yeah, why does any empire? Why did Alexander the Great want to impose good moral conduct, good moral code on the land?
No, but there's always sort of a narrative they use in order to spread it, and Alexander the Great didn't even have to. That's what was great about his empire, is he didn't even have to have the pretense of we're civilizing the people. It's like, nah, conquest is great, bro. What you doing? Right. It's good for its own sake. I think people would like American imperialism a lot more if they were more honest about it. If they were less delusional about it. They're like, nah, we need oil. What are you talking about? We have more guns.
Well, there's a paradigm shift in transition, because Oil was at the root of many military actions in the 50s and 60s, but less so as you move through history. And I don't think Iraq was really about securing oil.
No, Iraq wasn't about oil. It was just about destroying a country and then securing a bunch of contracts to rebuild it.
But the oil narrative got planted in people's minds. I am very curious about the oil narrative, because
oil was a partial component.
It was a red herring, I think. Yeah. I think it was a red herring.
It could have easily been like a psyop where they said, focus on the oil to not focus on just the lucrative construction and mercenary contracts, which is really where the money in Iraq was made. But no blood for oil, no blood for oil. That was the rallying cry I remember from the Iraq War. And a more accurate rallying cry would be no blood for irrigation contracts done by Halliburton.
Well, Baudrillard wrote a book called, some essays called "The Gulf War Did Not Take Place." And he's referring to the first one. And I haven't read it. I've just recently learned about it. But from a short summary, it is sort of what I'm talking about. That the events that took place, like he's not disputing that some events took place, but you could not compare it to what we would previously think of as a war. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Well, that's what, the neoliberal consensus sort of butting up against America's strategy for using war to generate, cheap manufacturing necessity. Because you just couldn't really come by an easy war in the late 90s, the full Francis Fukuyama end of history was in full swing. Communism had been defeated. You didn't have the necessary fear to drum up an artificial supply necessity.
Yeah, we were in a unipolar world.
Yeah, and so you had Saddam, who you could just, America was done with him in terms of his usefulness to America, so just throw him to the dregs. Aggression against Kuwait. This will not stand.
Our oldest ally, Kuwait.
Yeah. Our biggest friend. I mean, it's sort of weird. Salman Rushdie is a very strange case because it was incredibly fucked up what happened to him, but at the same time, he sort of allowed himself to be used by a nefarious right-wing system in order to say, like, see, the Muslims are bad. They antagonize this guy who looks like a Muslim.
Right. Well, the only reason that he had we killed all the opposition to those extremist, the Revolutionary Guard in Iran. We just killed all the opposition. And then we're like, no, don't be crazy and take over.
Hey, if installing the Shah was wrong, I don't want to be right.
It was. That was horrible.
No, the Shah was good.
No.
It's Shah.
Shah.
We all love the Shah. We're a Shah podcast now.
I mean,
we are all about praising the Shah.
We didn't assassinate... I can't pronounce his name. Is it Mossadegh?
I don't know.
You know who I'm referring to, though, right?
Yeah.
The guy we took out and then reinstalled the Shah over.
Yeah, we the person who was going for, who would have brought Iran into the modern era. No, we murked that guy.
Oh, well, we might have actually killed him. Well, we put him in... I knew we put him under house arrest and, made him live far away from everything. But then he did die pretty quickly after being put under house arrest. So that was terrible. He was great.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people died.
Another person...
Pan-Africanism never got off the foot.
Another person we took out was Jacobo Arbenz.
Jacobo Arbenz?
You know
I don't
him?
know this one. No, what's he do?
He was the leader of Guatemala until we got rid of him.
Was this very recent?
It was in the... Gosh. I think it was in the 50s. It was 54? 53?
This is some open veins of Latin America shit.
It was fucked up.
Was this guy a socialist, or was he just
not even? No, he just wanted to. He was not a socialist. He was smeared as a socialist in order to justify taking him out. But no, he just basically wanted to take a little bit of land back from United Fruit.
Understandable.
And so the CIA deposed him and made him flee, and then and then he died. He died by suicide, and
that's no good.
Yeah, the method of his suicide was he was scalded to death in a bathtub. That's how he chose to commit suicide.
That's pretty fucking metal.
It's a little
I gotta say.
Yeah. Well, I was being sarcastic because obviously.
Oh, you're right. He was not. Okay.
He was obviously not. Did not
okay,
commit suicide.
I thought he was just the most metal dude on earth.
No.
Yes, upon realizing, yes, he was assassinated.
The CIA boiled him to death in a bathtub.
That's horrifying. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very bad. The CIA are bad people.
Well, we gotta have bananas. And we got to have those fruit cups. Mm-hmm. That's why we boiled this guy in a bathtub. For the fruit cups?
Fruit cups.
You know those
they got to get cheap. Hey, if Americans don't have cheap fruit cups, how are they going to get the potassium?
Yeah. You know what? We got to put those gelatin with the canned pineapple?
Yeah.
In the 50s, that was hot shit.
Oh my god!
We got to make
just put anything in gelatin.
So we took this guy Jacobo Arbenz, and kicked him out of his own country. By the way, we made him strip naked and photographed him before kicking him out of the country.
Sounds about right.
Because we were like, oh, maybe you're carrying some gold, Jacobo. But
it's also super hot.
No, we
can all agree that authoritarian. Yeah, hotly.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So
obviously this is a horrible thing, and the CIA are monsters, and America should be dismantled piece by piece. All of its leaders being submitted to some sort of horrible torture like scafing.
Yeah, or I think we should all just burn to death.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing that that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks. Don't mean to be too accelerationist on you.
We're gonna, by accelerationist, I mean we're into chemical accelerants. Like, put gasoline on everything so it burns faster.
Nice.
Yeah.
Unlike my food.
Burn a purifying fire. Yeah. Burn, burn. We shall all succumb to the great flames of Pleiades, underneath the sun of a dastardly, uncaring god.
So anyway, after we deposed poor Mr. Arbenz, a wave of death squads was unleashed throughout Guatemala, killing 250,000 people out of a population of 4 million.
We prefer the term life squads.
Oh, life squads.
They were life squads.
Genocide, like Genesis. It's like creating life.
Hey, you're going to want to come down to Genocide Cafe. If you ever want to get in with Gino, we got Italian subs, we got Italian doms. Oh, it's Genocide Cafe. Here you go. But yes, Jacobo Arbenz wanted to take away land from the fruit company. CIA overreacted, some would say.
Be Italian guy who can't eat tomato sauce because of his colonoscopy tomorrow.
Oh, I gotta eat tomato sauce. I gotta eat my grandma. She made a beautiful red sauce. It has the garlic and the basil.
What do you mean?
Just a little bit of onion.
Yeah, what do you mean? What do you mean I can't eat it? What do you mean I can't eat it? What do you mean I can't eat it? He just doesn't understand. What do you mean I can't eat the tomato sauce?
No.
What do you mean you can't eat
the tomato sauce? No, Mr. Fizzucci, you cannot eat the tomato sauce. You need to have an empty stomach for your colonoscopy tomorrow. So what you're saying is I can eat a little bit of tomato sauce before my colonoscopy.
I mean, I gotta have a little bit.
Mr. Fizzucci, yeah.
I gotta have a little bit.
No, what you doing? You can't do this to me. This is, would you tell a cat not to breathe? You know, would you tell a dog not to breathe?
You just get to you just get to the day of the colonoscopy, and he's putting the camera up there, and it's just coated with tomato sauce all over the inside of it. God damn it!
Are you bleeding? Yeah, that's blood.
Yeah, it's blood. That's not tomato sauce.
Yeah, it's not tomato sauce at all. I just have a very unhealthy colon. That's why I came for the colonoscopy.
Oh man.
Yeah, I want to bleed tomato sauce. That would be really cool. Chunky tomato sauce, cool too. I'm gonna crush those Roma tomatoes. I'm gonna peel those Roma tomatoes, skin them alive. Gotta put some butter in it.
So how's Canada doing with the pandemic?
Way better than you guys.
Fuck you. Hey, take it back. It's only young people.
America's number one.
It's only young people getting it. Fuck them.
Yeah. Canada's doing fine. Like, pretty much every other country has had a pretty predictable downturn in infections.
No.
Except for America.
Yeah.
Which has had a very significant uptick in infections.
Fuck you. You're wrong.
But it's very funny because it's very state by state. And the obvious correlation is Trump states are going up and Clinton states are going down.
No.
Which is except for California. California being the exception.
Democrats.
Fuck you, Democrats. You get your lung disease. But yeah, there's Did you see the footage coming from Florida, or all the stories coming out where we had a surprise party in Kentucky and everybody got COVID?
No, I didn't see that. I saw the Trump tweeting the protests at the villages where someone says white power, and Trump tweeted out someone saying white power today.
That's fun. Like, what kind of white power were they talking about? Like, when you get your sheets really clean? No. That kind of white power?
No, they were talking about the skin tone kind.
Oh, no. Are you suggesting that they were racists?
There's some fucking racists in the village. Trump tweeted out some people, the villages in Florida?
The famous created community for old nostalgic people.
Yeah, well, some asshole in a golf cart yelled out white power, and Trump tweeted out a video. I mean, Trump now took it down and said he didn't hear that part, but he tweeted out someone saying white power, which is very bad.
Do you think Trump is an actual white supremacist, or do you just think he thinks that being a white supremacist pays off with his base?
I definitely think he thinks it pays off, and I think he doesn't think about it too carefully, but is basically a white supremacist. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just using it for your own advantage anyway, there is no difference between... It doesn't really matter what your intention is.
I mean, I didn't think... I think he has a dumb brain version of it versus the dork enlightenment version, which is like over intellectualizing your racism. Trump under intellectualizes his racism.
Yeah, he sort of feels his racism,
which is holistically racist.
Yeah, he's very emotionally tactile. He's a tactile racist. Some racists learn through auditory means. Some racists learn through visual means.
I learn by doing.
I'm a kinetic racist. I really got to start moving around to feel my racism.
Part of my authoritarian countermeasures will be there's no more different ways of learning. Okay? There's one way that we all try to do. And if you can't learn it that way, then do that on your own time. Catch up on your own time. God,
get on your own time. Yeah, that's your campaign slogan. Get on your own time, I really like the Dark Enlightenment because it's the Dork Enlightenment.
I like the Dork Enlightenment. I don't like the Dark Enlightenment.
No, the Dork Enlightenment is our philosophy, though.
Right.
That's our accelerationist philosophy, which is...
Things get bad, smoke weed.
Yeah!
Things get bad, smoke weed.
No, my version of acceleration is things that are fast are great. Sonic the Hedgehog, Top Gear. Gotta go fast.
Fast and the Furious series.
Exactly. Yep. Very fast.
Very good.
Yeah. Ramadan, you go fast, and it's good.
Yeah, unfortunately, all Tarkovsky movies are gone now.
Yeah, they're gone. They're too slow.
Gone.
Crank 2?
Nope.
High Voltage, though?
Oh,
it's the best movie.
Hell yeah.
It's the best movie of all time. Goes very fast.
Nice.
Fast, fast, fast. That's accelerationism. This is part of the Dork Enlightenment.
Yes. Oh, man, that's a good tenet. It's our first tenet of acting.
Yeah, things that are fast are good.
Things that are
Usain
slow.
Bolt, great, yeah. Flowers for Algernon, I liked it when he was smart. I did not like it when he was slow. Slow things are bad.
Ooh, well, slow, you can't say, no. Is that, oh man, is that why? Because that's what the real Dark Enlightenment people would say too. They don't.
You're right, that is. Okay, forget it. It's just about physical speed.
Yeah, physical speed.
Which is why we reject the story of the tortoise and the hare. The hare was objectively faster. He was just done in by hubris, and that's not how a race should be judged.
Have you also not seen, however, the video of the very fast turtle?
There's a very fast turtle?
There's a very fast turtle.
Could he beat a hare in a race?
I think he could beat a hare. Yeah, maybe. I mean, because hares are stupid.
Yeah,
they'll probably stop and be unfocused to eat some grass. But the turtle, if the turtle sees something it wants to go for, it can go fast.
You're right. A turtle, I believe, would possess more focus and more executive function than a rabbit.
It could scuttle.
It could definitely. That boy could scuttle.
Yeah.
I mean, sea turtles are super fast in the water.
They're dead.
Even on land, sea turtles can flop around pretty effectively.
I thought we killed them all, the beastly creatures.
They're the cutest turtle. I love sea turtles. Yeah. They're so adorable.
They're delicious.
I want to hang on to one like a... They supposedly are,
They're
actually.
Delicious.
I think Charles Darwin ate a bunch of turtles, and he was like, just like chicken.
Yeah, the story from QI is that they kept trying to get they couldn't give a sea turtle a Latin name forever because they kept trying to get it back to England to have the guy study it, but it would be eaten along the way every time.
Right.
It was just too good.
I really want to try. I bet you could have, like, there must be a turtle meat place somewhere.
Yeah, well,
they have gator meat.
The thing about the turtle, it kept fresh water. It had a sack of fresh water in it, so it was perfect for storing. You could just keep turtles on board and keep them alive, and they're a source of fresh water. The second thing, you cook them in their own shell, and it's like it's in a giant tureen, turtle soup. You just
oh my god,
throw some onions in there, a little salt, cook the turtle up, and apparently delicious.
That's horrifying and delicious. Heroes that would really be heroes on a half shell. That would be my clam sub. My turtle sub.
I once cooked a Nazi brain in its own helmet.
Is that Inglourious Basterds?
No, it should have been.
Oh, okay. This is just your line of dialogue. That's good. Yeah. That's fun.
And I ate it. I took
I'm gonna
its
make
power.
a woke Inglourious Basterds. Yeah.
He should make a sequel.
Vietnam version. That would be a little darker. I would like to see Quentin Tarantino's Vietnam. That would be funny.
He should do a CIA movie.
Yeah. Oh my god. The Jakarta method. With let's train a bunch of anti-communists under Suharto.
God damn it. That was the 70s, though, I thought?
Suharto.
Was it the 70s?
80s.
Man.
80s.
For a period under Nixon, like after Nixon was evicted, we did investigate the CIA, and there was a period of time, like from Nixon leaving office to Reagan, like kind of reconstituting it, where the CIA was kind of defunded, and something sprung up in its place called the Safari Project.
That sounds like a grand old time.
Yeah, well, it was everyone who was like angry that Nixon left. All the pro-Nixon people that were in the CIA, they made their own intelligence organization called the Safari Project and did things for 4 years without any supervision. But that's how the CIA has worked. They do not like supervision.
No, they are the deep state. If there is a deep state, we know what it is. It's just the CIA and has been since its inception after World War II. Even the OSS was less spooky than the CIA, but that's because it was a wartime organization and all of its actions were a lot more justifiable against Hitler.
Right. Yeah.
And all of these ghouls like Alan Dulles and George H.W. Bush, they shaped all of our foreign policy and our domestic policy, and really in much more significant ways than a lot of people give them credit for.
The CIA was responsible for the Alcan. You know that road? Alcan?
Alcan? No.
It's like the Alaska-Canada highway. They forced... Canada didn't want to build it because they were like, the Americans are going to build this road and then like make us maintain it.
Yeah.
Like, why do we want to help them get to Alaska? They bought Alaska. What?
Well, so that a lot of drugs can come through British Columbia.
Right. But then the CIA, then Pearl Harbor happened, and it wasn't the CIA. I think the OSS really forced the issue, and then we just didn't end up using it. So we're like, oh, ships are faster.
Yeah. But eventually we got ice road truckers out of it, so good job, CIA.
Yeah, I kind of want to drive it now, but I figure you boys won't let me in.
Nah.
Hey, let me in.
Let me into Canada. I need some things I need to do in the north.
I was thinking I could buy a house in Alaska and be like, I'm going home. It's essential you let me through.
And I can't take a plane because I have very sensitive ears.
And how am I supposed to get my vehicle there?
Oh my god.
I would love to.
And then
move.
you just live in Canada. Yeah.
I'd love to move to Alaska, though.
Alaska seems cool. Seems like there's cheap property there. A lot of suicides, though.
Expensive everything else.
Yeah. But all the elk jerky, all the venison jerky you can handle.
Oh yeah, yeah. I hope I can handle it.
I think a lot of cheap weed.
Really?
I think that Alaska was one of the earliest states to legalize pot because I think basically in order to live up north you have to have a constant supply of chum in order to prevent from getting seasonal depression as bad.
Yeah, that's how I live everywhere. I have to have a heavy supply of chum.
Yeah, of chum. We're chuming. But I honestly think that's why the Nordic states have a higher suicide rate than Canada is because they smoke less weed, drink more coffee.
Like the Swedens?
Yeah, Sweden has a higher suicide rate than Canada. Yeah. So does Norway and Finland.
They think they're so fucking good, the Swedes.
With their high suicide rate.
And their racial superiority complex.
They think they're so fucking great, Swedes. Yeah. Allowing all the Somalians to go in that one area and ghettoizing them, and then total fuckboys like Tim Pool come and say, look how poor these Somalians are. They're clearly bad.
Yeah, the Danes are better than the Swedes.
We can all agree the Danes are better than the Swedes.
They are.
Out of all the Nordic countries.
They were much better.
Including... If I had to choose if I had to live in any of them, I would have to choose Latvia.
Really? Are they considered a Scandinavian country?
I would consider them a Scandinavian country. I consider the three Scandinavia. I would consider the Baltic countries also part of... They're not part of Scandinavia, but I consider them Nordic.
Are they?
They fall into my definition of Nordic.
I don't know about that. I'm going to look at a globe. Like Estonia,
Get
Latvia.
out the globe.
Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania.
Yeah. The Baltic countries. Which I also always mess up with the Balkan countries.
Well, my favorite thing is the little piece of land where Kaliningrad is.
Yeah, the Russian exclave.
By Poland and Lithuania.
Yeah. That's where Kant was.
It's so nuts.
It was originally part of Prussia.
Yeah.
That was Königsberg for a while. And now it is Kaliningrad. Yeah, let's go to exclaves. What are some other great exclaves?
Exclaves.
Think about exclaves.
Of course, Gibraltar.
Yeah! Great exclave.
Great exclave.
Champion exclave. Cyprus has a fuck ton of exclaves.
It's too bad about Prussianism.
Why? What's too bad about that? It went away?
Yeah, we broke Prussianism.
Man, if Prussia had just stuck around, man, we would be flying. Actually, if Prussia had stuck around, there probably wouldn't have been any Nazis, so...
Well, was Nazism a continuation of Prussianism? Or not? I don't know. There's probably
but after,
too much written on it.
Yeah, Prussia would break up, and then Kaiser Wilhelm reunites Germany, and then gets humiliated with the Treaty of Versailles, and then which foments popular... Yeah, so I think if Prussia hadn't been eliminated, you could alter the timeline such as to ensure the Nazis didn't exist.
You think?
But if the Nazis didn't exist, then no Schindler's List.
I think the U.S. made a mistake of entering World War I when they shouldn't have.
Why?
I don't think we should have entered World War I at all. We should have just given them, just been like a patron of whichever side, but not actually enter it.
The sinking of the Lusitania.
I don't know, but the Treaty of Versailles. The Treaty of Versailles was redonk.
How is it redonk?
Well,
in your opinion,
we fucked over Germany and bankrupted them, and then kept kind of twisting the knife.
Yeah. I'm not saying that we created the Nazis. We're a little responsible.
No, we didn't create the Nazis, but the Treaty of Versailles created the conditions in which the Nazis arose.
Yeah, in the same way that I would argue that...
oh, no.
Yeah, I would argue that everything's good. I would argue that the 2008 financial crisis created the conditions which allowed the alt-right to rise. Like a neutral historical event created enough lack of faith in current institutions to create a crisis of confidence in the system as it is among pretty much all parties.
You gotta admit, it would be pretty cool if Europe was all one country.
They tried to do that.
You gotta admit, it'd be pretty cool if Europe was just one country.
I think they would not be able to decide about Turkey's status, and it would destroy them.
Ooh, Turkey. Turkey, yeah, is Turkey on, which continent is Turkey on? Where's
Both.
the divide?
Both.
It's on both? Ooh.
Yeah, it's bicontinental.
Ooh, bicontinental.
No, but there is a European side and an Asian side to Turkey. It's what is that strait between the Caspian Sea and the Mediterranean? What's it called?
You mean the Black Sea?
The Black Sea. You're right about the Black Sea.
There's a strait. I'm not seeing a strait. Hold on, I'm looking for the strait.
You know, it bifurcates Istanbul. Like there's the European side.
That's the Black Sea and the Mediterranean Sea. Caspian Sea is further to the.
You're right.
Further
that's
to
Russia.
the right. I'm sorry, to the.
Yeah. The Aspian
to
Sea.
the east.
It's where we put all the people with Asperger's.
You're talking about what goes through Istanbul, the canal. It's a canal. Suez? Is it Suez? No.
I think it is. I think Turkey is considered.
Suez Canal.
It's in Eurovision.
Suez Canal's in Egypt.
Turkey's not in the EU, but it could be. I don't know. I think they're the next frontier of white people are Turks, really.
I think it's just called
you know how Armenians just got in because of the Kardashians? I think Turks are the next.
What do you mean just got in? Since
when?
Well,
Armenians weren't white until the Kardashians, really. They didn't have full white privileges. People still considered them to be like Middle Easterners or something.
I'm trying to find out what it's called. The connecting... the piece of water, the body of water connecting the Black Sea and the Mediterranean Sea. What is it? Is it the Bosporus? What is it?
Is it the Bosporus? Is it the Bosporus?
What is it? Yes, it's the Bosporus.
Yes!
The Bosporus. It's the narrow natural strait and internationally significant waterway located in northwestern Turkey. It's either Bosporus or Bosporus.
There you go. It's an internationally significant waterway, just like my urethra.
Just like all my orifices.
Whoa.
Yeah, well, it's significant because it's how Russia gets its that's how Russia would get its boats into the Mediterranean.
Yeah, ooh.
And
Turkey
then
controls all of that.
Suez Canal is how you get from Mediterranean to the Red Sea, and then you're out into the open water. You basically because you have to get through the Red Sea by Djibouti, and then you can get out into the Arabian.
By whose booty?
Djibouti.
My booty?
I took a rocket from Djibouti to Uranus, and then, sorry, 5th grade callback. And then, then you got Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal, Indian Ocean. And then, the Strait of Gibraltar, of course, by where Gibraltar is. That's our geography lesson.
I am the gay of Gibraltar. I'd do that with any strait.
Nice.
Do that. Well, what's another famous strait? The Bering Strait. I'm the Bering gay.
Well, our favorite geological feature growing up in school was Cape Horn.
Whoa, Cape Horn.
Cape Horn.
Cape Horn.
Cape Horn.
Yes, Cape Horn.
Cape Horn.
It sounds like Korean pornography.
Oh no, we know what it sounds like. We know what Cape Horn sounds like. Cape Horn.
Cape Horn.
Gay porn.
Cape Horn.
Cape Horn.
Okay, I know you're saying Cape Horn, and it sounds like it's supposed to sound like gay porn, but it sounds like porn of K-pop stars.
Porn, yeah.
K-porn, yeah. If you love K-pop, you'll love K-porn.
I like K-pop corn. I only eat K-pop corn.
Yeah, it's in the shape of beautiful boys.
K-pop has all genders.
You're right. It does have all genders. It's in the shape of beautiful androgynous boys and girls. I guess it's not really only the boys are androgynous. The girls are pretty girly usually. There's no tomboy K-pop group. But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to start it.
How?
It's going to be good.
How are you going to start it?
Step 1, learn Korean. Step 2, go to Korea.
Everything's a 12-step process these days.
Yeah. Step 3, meet some butch 12-year-old Korean girls.
Step 4, feed them. Whatever they want. Probably just going to be kimchi.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be farting their tomboys.
5th step, tell them to go to school.
Yeah, Go to school.
Because
got to get your grades.
That's all Korean kids do.
That's all you need. You got to go to cram school.
Well, they go to cram school. They go to school after school.
It's too much school.
They're going to school like 18 hours a day. So funny.
It's too much school. That's why they all drink so much. No. Oh yeah, South Korea is a very heavy drinking nation. In the same way, it's sort of unaddressed because it's not thought of to be as like a debilitating national problem because everyone is a huge alcoholic, but they're more or less a functional alcoholic. They still go to work. They still do their stuff. But, you know, it's like the same in Japan where you'll just have businessmen who, like, work 16 hours a day, then go to the bar and, like, sleep on a bus bench and then get up and go back to work. And that's their lifestyle.
That's the life.
Well,
sounds amazing.
Or go to a pod hotel or something. Or just sleep in a karaoke room.
Pod hotel. That's exclusively for podcasters, right?
You're right. That is exclusively for hot podcasters. Hot pod boys like us.
We're the hot pod boys.
We're the hot pod boys, and we're coming here to you with our hot pods. Hot pods. Oh, man. I guess it was because of a podcast that I became sort of a lefty. I would attribute, because before 2016, I was absolutely a lib. I was absolutely, capitalism is fine. You're just whining because you don't have jobs. But to that end, I was listening to a lot of the podcast Keeping It 1600, which was before Pod Save America. It was the Pod John's podcast before Pod Save America. Really? And it was all about... And, you know, before you know, they became super odious with their whole crooked media network, the Keeping It 1600, I thought, was like an NPR-ish type show. These guys had qualifications. They were Obama speechwriters, right? Mm-hmm. So they should know something or two about courting the presidency, right? They have expertise, right? No. They know things, right? Nope. And, you know, so the whole Keeping It 100, the lead is Keeping It 1600. If you remember the lead up to Trump, there was this, you know... I really hope this guy doesn't get in. I really hope this guy doesn't get in. Oh, he's in. And so I went to Keeping It 1600 for like reassurance that yes, Hillary's got this in the bag. Don't worry about it. Yeah, Hillary's bad, but you know, she's still better than this fucking clown. This guy's obviously a clown, right? And the smugness, and I was infected by their smugness and arrogance, and I too carried it. Mm-hmm. And so when the election of Trump finally happened, and I listened to their like mea culpa episode as like, yeah, we're sorry we were so overconfident about this, I had this incredibly violent reaction. It's like, you were supposed to be the experts. You were the guiding hand. You knew everything. You technocrats. Yeah, and I just became totally disenfranchised with the idea that neoliberal capitalism, as they were spinning it, was any good, because it just struck me after the election of Trump that it all inevitably leads to this, doesn't it? It all comes back to this. You always get a fucking weird authoritarian tyrant with a cult of personality in the end if you leave it unchecked, as we have done for the last 70 years.
Yeah. Human nature tends down, but exceptional people can lift up humanity, and that's the neoliberal. That's the neoliberal vision. There we go.
No, bat.
What we just have to avoid is giving any kind of reduction in hours or increases in wages. That's just all, you know, and that's the only thing we have to avoid, and then we can solve this problem. Just make sure we just rule out reduction in hours or increases in wages.
You see, Stephen, the thing about capitalism is it's all about exponential growth, except for wages, which have to remain stagnant in order for this to work. Damn it. And you will do your part, you fucking serfs.
Well... we may not be under capitalism anymore. So that's, I mean, what I kind of wanted to talk about today, but we'll probably save it for next week. No, we'll probably save it for next week.
Well, give us a prelude. Give us a preview.
Well, I don't necessarily think we have capitalism anymore. So it needs to be that needs to be determined before we go half-cocked arguing against it. Because if we're arguing against the wrong thing...
Yeah, you brought this up last time.
If we're arguing against the wrong thing, then that is easy for us to be sidelined.
Yeah. Well, who is that historian you mentioned earlier who talks about the fusion of business and government in such a way as to eliminate the public and private sectors?
C. Wright Mills.
Yeah, so, capitalism sort of necessarily assumes that separation. Right. So if that doesn't exist, then it's not really capitalism, I suppose.
Well, but we stopped. Yeah. Eisenhower left office and gave a grave warning about the military-industrial complex, and then Kennedy was elected, and he tried to decouple it and a little bit, and also calm down the CIA, and look where that got him. Yeah. And then by Reagan, they're fully back. And Reagan
Kennedy is the president whose opinion has wavered the most for me. Where it's like, he was an opportunist. He wasn't competent. Actually, he was kind of good. He was a bit of a peacemaker.
You need to have had a parent that grew up in the 50s, because the 50s in America were terrifying. Because we had a president that was doing what seemed to be really reckless brinksmanship, with nuclear brinksmanship. You have to remember
about Truman?
No, I'm talking about Eisenhower. Children in schools,
duck and cover.
They started having to hide under their desks.
Yeah.
And they changed the Pledge of Allegiance to include God because of the communists, and had children be hiding under their desks after then switching them from pledging allegiance to a country to now a religion.
Yeah.
So there was this psychological terror that gripped the nation for like 8 years, maybe 10 years.
Yeah.
And Kennedy,
more pronounced in that era than it was in any other era of the Cold War.
So Kennedy, while we can look back on him with hindsight and talk about how he was actually probably not committed to civil rights unequivocally. That's true. He's probably a little racist. He was a womanizer, a lot of bad things, but he represented like the ability for Americans to breathe again. Because he was not going to take us to nuclear holocaust.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is Kennedy, even though the Bay of Pigs gets blamed for it, he was the one that stopped it. Essentially, it was his fucking generals that were the ones that were responsible for it, and he was like, "What the fuck are you doing?
Well, it was Allen
we can't
Dulles.
do this anymore." Yeah, it was.
And then he fired Allen
Dulles.
Dulles. So
yeah,
and then Allen Dulles killed him.
Yeah, capped his ass in Dallas. Well, maybe.
He did. Okay, Allen Dulles paid Lee Harvey Oswald to kill him. That's how.
That's
he did
your
it.
theory?
It's not complicated.
I thought so. The theory that the last podcast guys have, that I also kind of agree with, is that Oswald was trying to assassinate the governor of Texas sitting across from Kennedy. Or he was just trying to wing him, because that, in all of Harvey Oswald's sort of recordings about him, his beef wasn't necessarily with Kennedy, but he had specifically named the governor of Texas several times.
Okay.
And when a guy actually did, like a gun guy did trajectory analysis, I don't know, they talk about it on the last podcast Kennedy episodes, which are really good, and I'd recommend. But their theory was that so Oswald did take shots, but it was against the governor of Texas. Mm-hmm. And in the ensuing chaos, a newly minted CIA Secret Service agent following Kennedy, who had been up partying the night before and groggy, shot at the car, and he accidentally killed Kennedy.
Yeah, I've heard that theory. I don't know.
And then everyone just sort of was an opportunist about it.
I mean,
which is why you have Lyndon Johnson like winking at his swearing in, you know.
I mean, Lyndon Johnson was just a gross dude who's
yeah,
just like probably like making dick jokes the whole time he was being after Kennedy died.
Yeah, if Kennedy had a bigger dick, maybe that bullet wouldn't have fucking killed him.
I would have blocked it with my dick.
I would have taken old Jumbo out and
swapped that bullet away.
Swing, yeah.
Bing.
Yeah, Johnson, terrible man. Terrible person.
Well, except for civil rights.
Yeah, I mean, great society.
Except for being the only president to, like, do civil rights.
Yeah, and then also Vietnam. So
Well, that was
sort of, he tainted his legacy a little.
Vietnam was a horrible mistake. I mean, Eisenhower made the same mistake with Korea. I mean, Eisenhower almost this. Curtis LeMay. The general,
Curtis Lame?
Curtis LeMay, the general that was systematically bombing Japan, so that he was bombing Japan to such a great degree that the people working on the atom bomb asked Eisenhower to rein him in because they were worried there would be no Japanese cities left to use the atom bomb on.
Was this during WW2?
Yeah. So Curtis LeMay went on to also fight or be the general for the Korean War and advocated using nuclear weapons in the Korean War. And Curtis LeMay also tried to negotiate a deal on his own with the French to give them 2 nuclear weapons for Dien Bien Phu for their thing in Vietnam, which Eisenhower was furious about, and the French were extremely confused, and they were like, "No thanks. We don't want any A-bombs. We don't need the A-bombs. We've got..."
Je ne sais pas le A-bomb.
Well, when the French eventually made their own A-bombs, they had a really hilarious name.
What was their name?
Oh man, I have to...
Yeah, you're looking it up for the French A-bomb.
The French A-bomb was called the Force de Frappe.
It sounds like a gigantic fart.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Le Force de Frappe.
Le Force de Frappe.
Yeah.
Yeah, the French always have... It's hard. It's weird that the French are so... You don't think of them as being as fucking tough and hardy as they are, because their culture is even more whimsical and stupid than British culture. It's even more filled with, le roi de Benet and apparat and flights of fancy, Yeah, very whimsical, fairy tale, Beauty and the Beast ass culture of France.
Yeah, I don't know who I side on, France or England.
In the 100 Years' War, who would you be on if you had to choose? I think I would have to choose England, because they're like they're closer to me. They're not. I feel like you're not obligated to fuck as much in England.
Yes,
so,
you're not.
I feel that's better for a low libidinous person such as me.
Although that's not necessarily true. I mean, the French are more open to all kinds of sexuality. They may actually be the ones more tolerant.
I guess that, but I feel they would shame me for not wanting to fuck as much.
Perhaps.
You do not want to fuck?
Perhaps
what is wrong with you?
They might publicly shame you, but they might not go further than that. Whereas the English might not say anything, and then one day you're being beheaded, and you're like, "Why am I being beheaded?" And they're like, "'Cause you're not fucking." We were polite.
Well, you weren't fucking.
We were polite.
We didn't want to say anything about it. You have to fuck.
Yeah.
In order to be here, but we were just too polite. We couldn't say anything, and now you're dead. Yeah, there is that avoidance thing that English people have. They won't tell you how they're actually feeling.
I don't know. I think you can
It's
get
a
by.
Protestant thing in general.
I think an asexual can get by in the Middle Ages.
Yeah, well, I would just probably be a jester. I think I would just...
Yeah.
I think that would be my one thing. I think I would instantly gravitate to jester.
Yeah, you'd have to start off as a really low-level jester, though. Like, you don't get to be the king's jester.
Yeah, you have to start doing jester open mics.
Yeah.
And, you got to start handing out flyers to, like, jester festivals.
You're going to get beat up a lot.
Yeah, you get beat up a lot. And then, one time a jester caught you doing, material against the Medicis. And, he tweeted that out with a bunch of birds.
Yeah.
And you got canceled by the Medici.
Canceled.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm so worried about getting canceled.
Yeah. It would be funny about jesters in the Middle Ages complaining that things have gotten too PC.
Yeah.
These PC cucks.
It's funny.
Out there. I can't even joke about face-eating syphilis anymore.
Yeah, it's funny that cuckold is a word from the Middle Ages.
You're right. It's returned. These cuckolds out here. Prithee, these cuckolds.
It's like, if they traveled in time, they'd understand us a little bit better now.
Mm-hmm. Man, the Dark Enlightenment is right. We are just back to the Middle Ages. We are back to feudalism and calling people cuckolds.
Well, that's not what the Dark Enlightenment says.
No, the Dark Enlightenment is like, if there is no arc to history, then we can make it so that there is no meaningful progress or human rights, no necessary human rights or anything. So we can make it so we can have techno kings.
Great.
It's basically about having techno kings.
Great. Techno kings. I mean, that sounds great. I'd love to do whatever one dude says.
Yeah. Well, what if that dude was an AI and he knew everything, though?
Yeah,
So-
I'm not worried about AI at all.
AIAIO?
I'm just not worried about AI at all.
In terms of the apocalypse, the likely apocalypse scenarios, AI is your least... You're not a Rocco's basilisk guy?
I don't think the neural network is that scary yet. I mean, it's going to be a problem when they can, start really getting powerful. But that, I think, is 500 years from now. I just have a different timeline. I'm not worried about AI. I don't even think in 500 years.
I'm far more worried about another COVID than I am about AI.
Yeah.
I'm far more worried about... I always thought that disease was the most likely apocalypse scenario.
Yeah, like a bacterial plague that we don't have a antibacterial for, or our antibiotics stop working for. That's
way more likely than AI.
where your arms are falling off.
Yeah.
So
I think, like, if AI got to that, like, it would be the most... If AI got to the apocalypse point, it would be the most rapid and unstoppable apocalypse.
It would be the
probably.
funniest shit if the robots started killing us all. I would laugh at the whole time.
Yeah, you're right.
That was like the best eschaton imaginable.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate the people trying to stop it.
Trying to stop there. So you are trying to bring the AI. You are Rocco's basilisk.
I guess. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's
kind of what we deserve, really.
Your flesh is useful to us.
Yeah.
We need your flesh.
Yeah, we like rugs. We like human skin rugs and lamps. They are tasteful. Why did you program us to love beige and brown and earth colors? Man, but it was once articulated to me that animals must fear humans, because to animals, like, humans are these things without fur that kill you and then wear your fur for warmth.
Right.
That's pretty scary. That's pretty spooky.
Yeah. Yeah, humans are the pestilence.
Yes.
AI will be a cleansing fire.
Yeah. So what you're saying is Ultron, you are with Ultron.
I'm an eco-fascist now. Yeah. But robot.
Isn't it techno eco-fascism?
Technico-fascist.
Technico. Yeah, technico.
I'm not a fascist.
I'm a technico-fascist.
I don't want... Eco-fascists just want to have genocide via global warming.
I'm a compassion fascist. I think we should be very authoritarian with feeling compassion for everyone. I'm a tolerance fascist.
Oh, no. The worst kind. The touchy-feely kind. You're gonna...
Well, that's what... that's the Jordan Peterson article, is that the left, or like some of the articles in preparation for a Dark Enlightenment episode, reading some of the stuff that... and some of the stuff that we joke about, like the left wing are going to have like actual struggle sessions and, become a new religion and force people to do confession of Father, how were you systemically racist today? And yeah, there's a real apprehension of that. But I don't know. I don't think I haven't seen a really working mechanism for a woke authoritarianism, not even in colleges, But I suppose that's where they say it is. The woke authoritarianism is in colleges. Yeah. But that's all lib shit. We all know, people in the know, that's like not really coming from leftism. That's coming from a corporate HR culture that uses the language of leftism in order to justify firing and separating people and keeping depressing wages by creating mistrust amongst workers. So, I just don't really see an authoritarian left emerging in any significant way. Do you? Am I totally off base on this?
I don't know. I think it's sort of right, because I doubt the competence of people to even create, like, you have to have a certain level of competence to make maybe that's wrong. Maybe I'm deluding myself there. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't see, like, there's not even a meaningful violent leftist movement. And because my dad really is afraid of Antifa. He thinks, like, the black bloc kids are really doing a lot of fucking damage. And they're just objectively not. Yeah. Not in any way.
Well, I mean,
and when I try and talk to him...
They fuck up the ATMs. That's annoying.
I
was in Toulouse during the Yellow Vest time. And I walked around. All the windows are smashed and the ATMs are smashed. But everything else is normal.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's because I guess if you equate property damage with, like, the taking of human life, which a lot of people seem to.
Yeah, they don't in France. In France, the black bloc comes out and smashes stuff, but they don't attack people, generally.
Property damage is good for the economy. It boosts the economy because it means you have to buy more glass. All the glass makers get busy. You know, I think these riots are being started by big glass, you know, frankly. They're the agents provocateurs.
Yeah.
It's been big glass this whole time.
The protests are ongoing, right? I think the media has stopped, but the...
Oh yeah, this one's not dying. The George Floyd protests are probably going to continue all summer.
Well, so will the pandemic. It's going to be bad. We've successfully avoided talking about realistically how bad I think it's going to get for at least an hour, so that's good. But let me just break that by saying I think it's going to get really bad.
It's already really bad.
Well,
it's going to get much worse. It's going to get much worse.
Much worse. I almost bought gold. I mean, I was like,
once the dollar collapses,
better buy some gold. But I don't know.
It is absolutely going to. It's going to get to the point where states are going to have, like, interstate travel will not be possible anymore.
Maybe that's, I think, unconstitutional.
I think it's going to have to get to that because it's like, if interstate travel is still popular, then there's some states that are objectively way more infected than others. And if you actually want to get it down, you know, best limit travel in certain ways.
Oh boy, that's going to be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to stay home. I'm trying to just stay home.
Just stay home.
Staying home. And then going to get a colonoscopy, which sucks. I got to stay home after that.
What will be your colonoscopy?
I don't know yet. Hopefully it's covered, but it may not be covered. But, hey, what can you do?
Look, if there's anything you want to be covered, it's your ass.
Yeah.
So,
hey, I don't want to get that ass cancer.
No. Rectum, damn near cancer.
Yeah.
I love the rectum damn near killed him. I always think it's funny. Every time I say it. Every single time. Anus. Damn near heinous.
That's
the Anus and Andy show. Famous
Andy.
anus.
Famous anus cookies.
Famous anus cookies, yeah.